The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Hello, here I am. I'm Nikki Glaser and welcome to the podcast. I'm here in St. Louis with Andrew Collin. Noah's in Arizona. And my boyfriend and co-host of the Courtney Show podcast is here again. It's Chris Convy, everyone. You may be wondering what you are hearing. Well, folks, this is how I sound now after my surgery. I told the doctor to give me the voice of a lobotomized 1960s housewife. I like it. Do you?
So I'm surprised it's not longer.
Welcome to the show.
Wait, is this real time now?
It's real. We're in real time.
We're in real time.
So how are you feeling, Nikki?
She's typing something
She's had a
else.
lobotomy.
It's going to be like one of those conversations.
I have more to say, but I thought I'd give you a chance to respond.
So what's the last 2.5 weeks been like for you in 3 words?
Since you have voices.
It's going to be one of those back and forth things where, you know, when you're texting somebody and you're texting something and then they're texting something else and then you hit send at the same time, but you're both having 2 separate conversations about 2 different things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And yeah,
There's a bit of a delay.
I could see bubbles over her head right now.
So if people do know this, all the besties know at this point, Nikki had
Breast surgery. That affected her voice.
So many people have how many people do you know that have had nose jobs? But then they said, "Oh yeah, I just had my
Deviated septum.
deviated septum." So
Every girl in my high school that drove a BMW.
they all had deviated septum.
Weird.
They come from a long line of
None of them could breathe.
deviated septums. So Nikki had vocal cord surgery. I was there for it. I mean, I wasn't in the room during.
I
this.
really count this as a voice lift.
A voice lift.
I feel like too that you have to laugh harder at her jokes because she sounds like disabled. So it's like if we don't laugh, we're not laughing at like a little disabled girl.
I've had a problem that Nikki.
So I'm using a text-to-speech website I found after searching for hours because it's nearly impossible to find one. I bet it's easier to find Beyonce's social security number online than it is to find a fucking website that people who are temporarily or permanently mute can use to communicate. I use an app on my phone that is awesome and the voice is so much funnier, but I can't use it here because that app cannot be downloaded to computers for some reason, and I can't use my phone right now because it takes way longer to type on a phone than a keyboard. Well, then you might ask me, why don't you get a Bluetooth keyboard and connect it to your phone, Nikki? Well, I do have a Bluetooth keyboard. I have 2 actually, but neither of them will connect to a fucking iPhone. And even if they did, I would still have to press the enter button on my phone after typing, which would negate the speed of the keyboard in the first place. So this is the best I can do. Get off my back.
I'm going to need you to get way off my back on this one.
It's weird. I always wanted to do Lex Friedman's podcast.
One problem. I wish I got that.
He's like kind of a computer
I
guy.
don't get that either.
Oh, he's been on Joe Rogan a lot. He wears a tie and he talks.
Does he come from like the
this.
tech
He's like an
world?
intellectual.
Hess autistic?
Yeah,
We don't
I
know.
would say so.
The noise you made when thinking.
The good kind.
That's how you get out of things these days. You just go, You have a racist thought? So how's it been dating a mute? I mean, this woman has been legendary for her words per minute is pretty amazing. I mean, thousands. Some would say hundreds of thousands. Now to 0. Has it been the best 2.5 weeks of your life?
No, I feel like I'm sure. I'm sure emotionally for Nikki it's been difficult, but I haven't felt. I mean, there's been times that are a little bit frustrating and not as much like fun because like I know Nikki's got great stuff to say about things that she's just holding. I'm just missing out on a lot of jokes.
It's been good for us, I think.
The interruption.
One thing we haven't addressed at all is I started talking like louder and like sort of like overemphasizing things as if she has like hearing issues, and I can't seem to stop it. Have you noticed it?
She's putting her finger up like she's a DJ.
We're waiting for
you
the,
do kind of have like a
drop.
DJ vibe.
This might be your neck. Yeah, it's really DJ vibe.
Yeah, and all they have is like a keyboard, like a computer anyway, and they just hit play.
Everyone tends to talk louder or not at all.
Yeah. I feel like I'm treating her
Sounds so
like a
sad.
grandparent.
They think I can't hear.
Right. Yeah. It is a strange thing mentally to deal with.
Yeah, I saw her at Starbucks.
I
and
am
it-
on day 19 of not talking. It's going better than I thought it would. My main worries were that I would wake up every morning and forget that I should not talk, and I would say one of my first sentences that I say every day upon waking. Something like good morning sunshine, or what a great day to be alive. Or oh fuck, another day of existing. I hope I get hit by an Uber Black. But it only took 4 days
Fancy.
before I didn't have to remember to not talk when I woke up. By day 4 I was dreaming in silence. It's kind of like when you get sober and you have nightmares that you smoke or drink. I think a lot of sober people will relate to that. I have frequent dreams where I talk and I'm so mad at myself.
She's talked in her sleep a few times too.
Oh.
Yeah, but not a lot.
So have you
and
made
not-
any sounds?
She's
have
messed
there
up a
been-
few times. Once in traffic.
Yes.
I think twice watching TV.
Wait, go back to the traffic, because this is...
There's a
She
traffic
got cut
moment.
off.
We're gonna
Road rage.
yeah.
Road rage,
Oh,
really?
road rage.
Man. Was it bad? I mean, what did you say? What was the
Did you
word that got
scream?
you?
Something happened.
Were you in the car with Nikki?
No.
What
I think Nikki had just
When people drive too slow or they make a face at me and I go, ooh, you poor baby.
Oh, you poor baby.
So you said-
oh, wow.
You said poor baby. That's what you got him. And your window was up, so they couldn't even hear it. They never hear it.
And I think there was something on TV. It was a terrible TV show called
Who's
like
special?
The Great British Scandal.
Oh.
Oh, I thought Bake
And
Off.
somebody just did something really he did something slimy. Oh, this guy was on trial and he had cheated.
Anatomy of a Scandal.
Yeah, that's it. And he had cheated
Thanks,
on his.
Nikki.
Spoiler alert: if you're a big Anatomy of a Scandal, it's
Been out a while.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so this guy's on trial, and he had cheated on his wife. And during this trial, details of that affair had to come out. His wife is sitting there, like in like the audience or whatever it is, and he has to he talks about intimately about all that. Like he was like, we were very, very connected emotionally, and like saying just weird stuff. And his wife is right there.
Oh. So it would have been better if he was like just describing the sexual exploit.
Yeah, if he was just
I
like, yeah.
said ooh so loudly at the screen and then I covered my mouth instantly like that monkey emoji.
What did he say? Because it was, I mean, I'm not doing a good job of describing it. It was something that was like, our connection was passionate, like nothing we had ever felt
Is this
before. And
Adam
it's like,
Levine?
You're right. Your wife
And I
is
saw
right.
you.
I said, holy fuck,
And she goes,
fuck.
ew. She's trying to type it out, but it's not working on this text to speech app. But she said ooh really loudly.
So you've only messed up like a handful of times. I mean, that's incredible.
I mean,
Do you think it'd be harder to say like 10 words a day almost? Because like, I don't know. I feel like all or nothing.
No, I talk probably 2 to 3 times a day.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, you're in
By
trouble.
accident,
Yeah.
you mean? Yeah, by accident.
But it's always like 1 or 2 words.
Are you
I
shocked?
never get out a sentence.
I never get out a sentence. I'm impressed that she's able to do this at all. Because it's, I mean, I forget all the time. Will go, and, like we went to this Taylor Swift sing-along thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be the hardest thing ever, you would think.
Oh, and she didn't sing anything.
I
She
guess
was like just
lip-syncing,
mouthing it.
But yeah, mouthing it.
But you
still,
want to like
yeah.
feel like that's the whole point of karaoke and like like belting out your favorite song is like you get extra feeling. Glaze, did you still get all of like the effect of it, or do you feel like you left something on the table that night?
And also, were the other people there saying anything to you, like being like, why is she mute?
That's the problem.
Yeah, because
So
there's thousands of girls there that...
I learned how to have a great time lip syncing.
Good.
did it take anything away from the experience that you couldn't actually sing?
But I learned that at Wilco and a DMB.
Right. So yeah, Nikki got to see
At DMB.
Oh yeah.
Nikki got to
to
see
see,
her,
like, all her
just in the last
favorites.
two and a half weeks. She got to
Oh, I thought
see.
you said DMV. I was like, what the fuck's going on? I really did. I was like, when I... But anyways, yeah, so go ahead.
Dave
I
Matthews
honestly
Band.
didn't.
You didn't think she
I
said
swear to God, I thought
DMV.
she said DM like a joke, like I
You
will
were
go into DM.
DUMB.
But yes,
You were DUMB.
what's that, bitch? Oh yeah, keep talking shit.
That is one of the funniest things she's doing is she's putting, I don't even like saying the word, the B word at the end of every sentence.
Oh.
It's pretty funny every time.
Wait, do you talk to your parents with that mouth?
Yes. She does.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off though, really. She saw DMB,
Yeah.
Wilco.
At Red Rocks.
So Nikki got to see Wilco at Red Rocks, DMB at the Hollywood Bowl, and then did the Taylor Swift dance party. So basically her three favorite things to like sing.
Yeah.
She got to do all those things during her 3-week can't talk hiatus. Oh, you're back on. Oh, look who's back on my text to speech.
I just exceed the limit for that speech up, so here goes a new one.
Is that Portuguese?
I think it's like one of the guys from the bar in Star Wars.
Oh, so you could do any voice you want? You could do multiple voices?
Oh, yeah, there was Portuguese there.
Sounded Portuguese.
I just exceed the limits for that speech app, so here goes a new one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Russell Brand.
I just exceed the limits for that speech app, so here
Let's look for.
Oh, you
Aria.
reached a limit. Oh, so do you have to
I'm
pay?
going to be a man now.
Do you have to pay?
I'm surprised that it's not a free service, especially since it's, for people with like a disability. There should be like a free resource.
Yes, I have to pay, but it takes too long to set up, bitch.
What's that? I think you have a speech impediment.
Noah liked it. So Nikki,
like
I
all
think
of this.
in like 3 days on Friday,
Yeah.
she has an appointment with her doctor to see if she's able to talk for like 5 minutes a day for the next 2 or 3 weeks after that. So then after that, Nikki, after that 2 weeks or 3 weeks, is it just like, do you go to another appointment and then he clears you to just get back to normal? Or do you just feel it yourself and you get to do what you want?
Don't put the mic up to her face. Don't tempt her.
I don't know.
I like that move.
What do you mean you don't know?
So wait, after she sees a doctor, it could be another 2 to 3 weeks?
So when she sees a doctor on Friday, it will be another 2 weeks of, and he might just say, yeah, you can talk for 5 minutes a day.
You know,
Having a dog and not being able to talk to it is the hardest thing.
Oh, Luigi.
Yeah, the dogs have been really confused that like they're around and she's not calling him baby all the time. You've heard
Because dogs thrive on your high voice.
you've heard the way she talks to the dogs, right, Andrew?
yeah, it's creepy.
Can you?
They are so confused.
It's like a hive kiss. There's a lot of kissing, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of kissing.
Open mouth.
And
Yeah.
asking if they're babies.
They are. There'll always be babies. Marion.
I have learned what mouth sounds I can make.
Oh, did your doctor tell you could do that?
Oh, there we go. I think like Sturgill Simpson had this surgery, and he's been gone for like 6 months or something. Something crazy.
They are all sounds that don't use my chords.
So what else? Like, so conversations fine. You're like handling this. I mean, I know it's tough for you, Chris, to go through this, but
Every singer has had this, I have realized.
what kind of connection have you guys made? Like, is there more? Like, it sounds cheesy, but more of a spiritual connection. Are you looking at each other in the eye, like in the eyes more? Do you feel like?
I only look at her in the mouth
No.
now. Just in flat out no.
But you know what I mean?
No,
like,
the nice part for me is that Nikki isn't on tour. So
Yes.
instead of going away every weekend and us sort of like restarting and resetting and stuff like that, which is nice in some ways, to miss somebody.
We get to hang out every single night and it's a dream.
Oh,
I typed that.
Yeah. her
so
her vocal cords are on
sweet.
tour. The best. Wait,
Chris
so
loves to hang out with this British man.
it is a way to like kind of explore some things.
I
Chris.
did get along with Jimmy Carr when I met him in Montreal.
He makes me use this voice. In bed.
For sleeping. It's soothing when she
Sorry.
reads me. She reads me books every night, and so she does it in this voice now. It's exciting.
So, anyways, Chris, you got a haircut recently?
Yeah, I got a haircut, and this time I was like, you know what? I don't have anything coming up. I don't have anything going on.
Yeah.
We just took pictures for the radio show, and I was like, I'm just going to tell the person, like, do do like the coolest thing you can think of.
Whoa.
Like you get artistic freedom. You can do
Oh my
whatever
God,
you
do you have
want.
a lightning bolt?
No, well, kind of. She did this thing that I was like, oh, I'm going to shave today.
Her last name is Gooch.
Her last name's Gooch. Her last name is Gooch. She's great.
Yeah.
Great person. Terrible last name. She married into it. The guy should have taken her name.
Yeah, what's her last name? Her real last name.
I've asked her
It's gotta
before,
be
but I don't
bad.
know what. Yeah, it must be worse than that.
Yeah, Gucci.
Taint.
So anyway, so let's see this cut. Well, do you want to show it? Or
Well,
is it-
yeah, I can show it. But then, so I was telling Nikki, I was like, I'm just going to let this person do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, or you can just decide what it is. And so she pulled up a bunch of pictures of like the most handsome men in America and was like, do this. And they also are like younger and have much better hair than me. So she did what she could to make me look like
Thor.
Thor.
Oh, you went with Thor? Let's see this Thor. Is it dyed blonde? I would fucking lose it.
Oh, nice.
Great cut. So what would be different?
No,
That
it's
you left
just
it a little
basic hot
longer?
guy cut.
You left it a little longer on top than you usually do then, maybe? And shorter on the sides? Is that a Thor?
I typed in hot guy haircut.
Yeah.
Oh,
You just wanted me to be hot. Yeah.
I mean, it's a little higher faded than maybe you would normally do, maybe.
I don't know if I've ever gotten a fade.
A fade.
They can only do so much.
Yeah, she asked them to add hair to my hairline.
Maybe like just put a Thor helmet on. It might look better. Wait, so
The Hemsworth thing.
you came in with a hat. We were talking
Okay,
about
we have
this.
to go to break.
Come back, you'll find out. Was Chris wearing a hat?
Andrew.
Andrew.
Coming. I'm coming on down the river flows all the way to the monkey blood.
Okay, we're back. Welcome back to the show.
I guess it's not riveting to talk about the hat, but I do think as a guy, we go in with hats on and you get a haircut, and then do you put the hat back on before you leave the haircut? And is that a dig to the hairstylist by putting the hat on? Or should you wait and you go, hey, you put product in it? Because like they want to see the end result. You know what I mean? Is it rude?
Why don't I answer your question?
I leave the hair lady with wet hair every single time.
So is that the equivalent to a hat? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because what they'd want to
say.
dry it?
They want to try it and see like the
end
their
result.
work.
Yes, and style it.
So then why do you, because you're not going to any function, like you don't need them to do, is it extra money? You don't care about that.
Do you
but-
see that you save $750 because they don't take the time to dry it?
Because I am tired of being there. It takes another 50 minutes.
to dry your hair and style it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes, and
that's-
style it, and they have to like look at it and put product, and then you inhale it. It's just a whole
No.
thing.
Yeah, and then you're like ready for like
After
a
you've
homecoming
spent-
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After you spend like 2 hours doing the foils and then washing it, it's just it's a 5-hour affair for us.
Can I recommend
And then
something?
you have to act like you like it, and it's all just
Yes.
so exhausting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the whole like sort of pageantry of a haircut that maybe you're not thrilled about, but you have to have that moment where you're like, it's perfect. It's perfect. You've done the best job with this hair.
I'll tip them more. The worse it is.
Yeah, that's
I don't know what's that disease in my brain. I'll go, oh, you gave me the Lloyd Christmas? How about I pay your rent?
what was the last time you got a bad haircut and how did it make you feel?
I don't know. My haircut these days, it's so like simple. There's no options. It's just,
Yeah.
you have limited options. So it's hard to mess up. You know what I mean? So it hasn't been, when I had options, it hurt more.
And how often are you getting a haircut and are you making an appointment when you leave? Because every time I leave, they're like, do you want to make your next appointment? And you're like, who knows when they're going to need
Yeah, I
this
don't
thing?
know if I'll be alive still. Yeah, I don't do that.
I've never felt like less of a woman than when I see the scowls of the women when I leave the salon with wet hair. It's truly unheard of for women to do that. Who has all this time? I don't get it.
I could see you in front of the store just shaking your head like a dog. Just getting the wet out. It's so funny, dude. So when do you dry it?
No, have you ever left wet?
I have not left wet, but I have an appointment coming up, and I think I'm going to leave wet because I hate that last process
Because
of
they
them blow
take it as an insult.
Yeah.
My hairdresser's pretty cool. I think she'll just think I'm an oddball, but she won't take it personally.
I wonder when the tinfoil and the weird thing you guys
I have to
put over
text
your
my
head.
hairdresser beforehand to prepare her for it.
Nice.
Do
That's a good
you
idea.
go to the same person every time? Do you, Andrew?
No, and I should because I like the guy. For some reason, I just have. I'm not. I wait till the last second, and then he's not available, and then I'll go anywhere.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Here's a recommendation I have for anybody out there: bring a friend to a haircut. It was so much. Even though Nikki couldn't talk, she came and stayed the whole time.
Yeah,
she was doing the phone text thing. It's so much more fun when there's 3 people hanging out having a good time. Bring a friend to a haircut.
Bring a friend to a cut.
Listen, bring a friend to your haircut.
I've been to a few cuts of a friend.
You have?
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like
Bring
it.
friend.
Bring
In
a
New
mute
York.
friend.
Bring a mute friend, yeah. No, it would have been more fun if you could have talked, but you couldn't. How many jokes did you leave on the table at the haircut?
You know what barbers are doing now? Do you like this? They give you the haircut. You don't look in the mirror. You look at the room while they cut your hair. Have you seen this? I don't like this. I'd rather look in the mirror. I want to
love
see.
that.
Oh, you love that?
Yeah, they should put like a TV on or something. At the I have a dentist.
That's why I hate going.
Yeah.
Oh, because you have to look at yourself so long? Interesting.
I had a dentist
Yes.
that you would be down in the chair and they had on, one of those like, movable.
I hate my face.
I love the straight
And
man.
the lighting is always so terrible.
Tell me about it.
Noah feels me.
What if your next comedy special
Noah
is
hates
just
your
his
face
voice?
too.
Oh,
No, I like that one too much.
There's just so much going on here.
Yeah,
and
it's too much.
so wait, what were,
I love
what
it
were you
all.
saying? I'm sorry.
We should do a disclaimer in front of this podcast to be like, listen, buckle up. This is a new experience.
People are going to think it's their, what's the GPS?
I love my face when I am in good lighting and when I have makeup on, but when I am getting my hair done, I usually look like shit.
Shit. Yes.
Gotcha.
Women relate.
Yes.
Is that a command or what do you say? Are you forcing them to relate?
Well, it's funny. The older you get as a guy and you start
That's
losing...
the name of my next special.
Women relate.
Ooh.
I think it's pretty good.
Love it.
Put it
down.
right there. Right, it's right out there. You start losing hair, and then you have to ask. You go, can you cut it like so it doesn't, so it looks less bald? Like there's a whisper involved, and like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
This is not my first receding hairline, and it's just so it's like a pause where you're just like, hey, can you like just leave it a little longer there so I can play around with it. And they're like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, man, we know.
But there are shitty barbers that have like literally cut it to make me look as bald as possible. And I'm just like, oh, this is, I don't know what this, like they'll shave this part still.
Maybe
I'm
they
like,
see you as a threat. Oh, yeah, that's bad.
yeah.
Yes, Gooch said that every woman comes in with a picture of a celebrity and she's like, I'm sorry, those women have extensions and you have 7 strands of hair.
Yeah.
That ain't happening.
Wait, who does the pause? Do you do a bunch of spaces there? It knows?
It's a period.
Wow, good timing for it really pauses. Anyways,
Well, that's something
It's too long.
I didn't know this as of yesterday.
it's too long.
Nikki told me that basically everybody you see on TV, every like woman
Every woman.
has hair extensions.
Oh.
And so when you see like this unbelievable head of hair, which I don't even know if I'm paying attention to that stuff, but you do notice the difference between the people that are doing it and aren't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently every single person, which it feels unfair. It feels like steroids for people on TV.
Do you think it's a strong...
I never wear them, but I did on Kimmel when I hosted, and I want to be clear about that.
Yeah.
Man.
She wore them on Kimmel, but hasn't worn them in years because she thinks it's unfair.
Is
The
it
people see that
unfair or
head-
are you worried that your hair will fall out because of them?
No, she was, well, my
But I
underst-
didn't. It's unfair.
It's unfair.
Oh.
It's unfair.
Women relate.
It is.
Now, do you think it'd be a boss move if next late show
Women
you
compare themselves.
you take out the layers on TV and you put it on the fucking...
You just slam it on the wall,
Jimmy
like-
Kimmel's table or whatever.
Like on Liar Liar.
Yeah, exactly.
I've done that before. Thanks for watching my work, Andrew.
You have 90 million hours, Nikki. I'm sorry. I didn't see your video from 1948.
Oh, do you guys know about the article in Esquire yet? Noah, Andrew?
Did that come out
I
already?
did it on the Netflix show with Jimmy Carr.
On the Netflix show with Jimmy Carr?
Oh.
Netflix show.
Oh, that's
Actually, we were friends then.
So yeah,
that
Nikki
wasn't too long ago.
Nikki
I
was
took
in
out my extensions.
Actually, I remember when we went to that Thai place in Manhattan and you gave me your extension to put on. Remember? You clipped it off
I
your
put
head.
on your extensions and wore them as bangs. And yeah that was an interesting conversation that led to. Wait, what were you saying?
I don't know.
the
shoot. When
Esquire
computer-
piece, which
Oh,
I
the
have in
Esquire.
the news.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I used to read Esquire. That would be like one of what back in the day. You probably what ESPN, Rolling Stone, maybe Esquire or GQ, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get into. I didn't
You
really get
never a
into
magazine guy.
magazines. I mean,
Penthouse.
Penthouse.
that's Nikki's.
I used to read YM magazine.
for
Did
the
you ever
pussy
read that,
farts.
Nikki? Did you ever read Young and Modern?
Wire magazine.
YM magazine.
Oh, YM.
I
No.
remember grade
17,
school
Teen Beat.
girls would come in with magazine quizzes from like Cosmo
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
Vogue maybe, and then everybody would have to take these quizzes.
Is he just that into you, or like does he think your nipples look weird? Something like that. Wasn't that what it was?
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah. No, I would read the articles. I feel like the bigger the magazine,
Are you a good kisser?
I'm decent. What was your first
She was
kiss,
asking
Chris?
Noah. My first kiss was Colleen, a woman named Colleen, a girl, a woman. She was a girl at the time.
That bitch.
She was babysitting a kid named Gary Poor.
Wait 1 second. She was babysitting.
She was babysitting.
How old were you?
I don't know, 33. No,
Jesus.
I was probably 14.
Oh,
Maybe-
And she's babysitting your.
Maybe 13. She was a year older than me. No, she was babysitting my cousin's neighbor.
Okay. So
Which is
why
right-
did you go
pretty
over
close
there?
to my house.
Okay, so you're
Just to say hi to Colleen, say what's going on.
Oh, okay. So this was like a planned thing. Parents are gone. She's babysitting, and like,
Did you have a crush?
Well, yeah, Colleen and I,
Yeah.
we were destined at that point.
Okay. So you go over there. The kiss is like, hey, we're gonna make out. Kind of. It's
No.
spoken.
It was I was leaving, and it was like I remember it was like this.
raining.
We kind of knew it was. I think there was just like we knew it was going to happen, but I was leaving, and I was in like a bit of a hurry, and we were at the top of the stairs at this house, and Gary was in the basement. She was like walked me up, and then we got to the top of the stairs, and we kissed fairly quickly, and then looked down, and Gary was at the bottom of the stairs, and then Gary, I think, told her mom, and then like everybody, I think like everybody knew
Whoa.
what went down.
Seems like
Was their tongue involved?
I don't.
let's call Gary.
Yeah, only Gary knows at this point.
So wait, did you kiss her again? Was this like a?
Yeah, Colleen was my girlfriend
Okay.
in 7th grade. She was in 8th grade.
Ooh, older girl. That's a big deal. Dating an 8th grader when you're 7th.
Yeah, it was awesome. She was the best.
How did you guys first meet?
But everyone remembers their first peck kiss versus their first make out.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I always
Interesting.
thought a first kiss was like with tongue. A peck is just.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember my first tongue.
Yes, I agree.
Thanks.
My first kiss, 4th grade, 6th grader. I kissed, and I bumped.
What was your first make out, Andrew?
That was my first peck, and I messed up, and I went. I went
You
nose.
just did-
I went nose to nose.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of
I didn't
course.
turn my head in front of the whole school bus.
Why'd you do it in front of the whole school bus?
I was ready for stand up back then, brother. Everyone laughed at me. What? Hey, brother.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I got.
Oh, like you needed
I got
an
nervous
audience.
again, like I was in 4th grade. No, I was in the back of the bus. It wasn't like I was like, but yeah. And everyone was like, "Oh, they're gonna kiss." You know, it was a big deal. I think because she was, so much older. Maybe she actually wrote me on Facebook recently. I guess I left a mark, but on her nose. With my
Oh.
nose. Hello, come on, stand up. It's here. Come on back.
So she wrote you on Facebook. What happened after that?
Oh, that was years later. But I think there was one girl that my first makeout session was going to be an 8th grader when I was in 7th grade. This girl, Elizabeth Johnson, and she dumped me because I wouldn't kiss her with tongue because I was too nervous.
Why were you nervous?
I just thought I'd be bad.
I love how it's planned.
Yeah. It is kind of bland. Yeah, I don't know. She was just, at that point, she was just more experienced than me. And I thought I would do so bad that she would dump me. Turns out, yeah, she just realized how young and small. I was so small, man. She was like a foot taller than me.
Andrew, when was your first sex?
My first sex wasn't till I was in college, freshman year in college. This girl brought me to a sorority mixer, like party. She gave me $80 cash. I was like a prostitute. She gave me $80. She goes, go get drunk, do whatever you want to do. So I got very drunk, and then I had very lousy sex that night. Couldn't even stay erect. It was bad. It was just a mess. And yeah, that was pretty much my first time I ever had sex. Yeah, it was terrible. It was like, it wasn't memorable at all. I mean, I hardly remember it. I was pretty blacked out. But I just remember her giving me $80 in cash and just being like, I mean, it's kind of nice. I mean, it's kind of pretty romantic, I guess.
Didn't you have sex in a car outside of a parking lot?
I had sexual activities in a car in an
A
Explorer.
7-Eleven.
No, a 7-Eleven. No, I did this outside a car, and we were steaming up the car listening to LL Cool J. Freaking, what was that song? What was that? Backseat of My Jeep, which is right on, like, backseat of my Jeep. And I was, like, literally in, like, a Jeep, like, hooking up. And then I stopped talking to that girl because I got weirded out, and I would see her in the hallway and pretend I was invisible. And I'd walk by her, and I, like, it's like I don't know. I was out of my mind.
Can you still listen to that LL Cool J song?
Yeah. I don't really like LL Cool J as much as I did for that month and a half, I guess. But yeah, I can still listen to it.
Andrew used to do this thing where he would pretend he was invisible.
Yeah, like the kid from that movie with Adam Sandler. What was that movie? Big Daddy. He pretended.
Will you explain this?
Yeah, I was just like, so I hooked up with I kissed another girl. We were in Sephora, and I'd be like 7 feet away from her, and I would be like, she doesn't see me. She doesn't see me. And I would like pretend to be so insignificant, I guess, where she wouldn't see me. But obviously,
this was in his 20s.
Yeah, that was a little later. That was too late for that to happen.
Wait, so
But
did you think that if you didn't make eye contact with her, she doesn't see you? Is that how you?
I think it was. Look, do I think I was invisible, like floating? No. But do I think that she got the hint that I was so uncomfortable that she would realize not to speak with me? Probably. Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. But
did anybody ever call you out and be like, hey, I saw you, and you pretended like you were invisible?
I think months later, she's like, I saw you at Sephora. Like, we were right next to each other. And I was like, yeah. She's like, that was really weird behavior. I was like, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I was very awkward about.
Did anybody ever witness you actually disappearing?
Gary. No, I don't know, man. I don't think. I mean, maybe
Chris,
I am.
Have you ever been nervous around girls?
That you hooked up with after
because
the fact?
I was so nervous around boys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think in general. I don't remember being nervous in general, but I'm sure around maybe certain individuals I have been.
Did you ever have a hookup where like it was so awkward that you were just like, okay, I got it. I'd rather ignore this than deal with it head on?
One of the things I'm most attracted to about you is the fact that you are so confident sexually and romantically.
Period. Where does that come from?
His haircut.
Is it the haircut?
Yeah, it's like I
used to get I'm serious.
I used to have a great
I
hairline.
don't relate to it at all.
Yeah, I don't.
You know what I mean, though? Like, have you ever you're not an avoidant, like, kind of person.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Wow.
I don't think so. I mean,
I know that like from Nikki's stories from when you were younger and a guy would have a crush on you, then you would feel that like obligation, like, oh no, I have to like him back, I have to kiss him, and like all this pressure, like came to you, and I can relate to that too. So, Chris, did you ever have that? Like, if a girl liked you, did you all of a sudden feel obligated, like, oh well, now I have to like her back, but I wasn't that into her before? Any of that ever?
No, I didn't. I never felt obligated like that, but I did like being extra nice to that person because it's like, oh, this is sort of like this is nice. And so then you're like, you're just nice. You're just like, maybe just be a little bit nicer just to be like,
so you lead them on?
Cordial.
I don't think.
No, I'm kidding.
I don't think anybody
I'm kidding. No, but you would do the opposite of what I would. Like I
felt
would,
led on. And we're talking about like one person. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's not like there was a lot of people.
Like even before we kissed for the first time, were you nervous that night?
I don't remember being nervous
Wait,
about.
what was your first kiss? What was your first kiss? I don't know if I know the story. Because you guys would start as coworkers.
So we were coworkers, and I thought Nikki hated me for the first few months of this thing because she wouldn't talk to me. She wasn't very, and I thought Sarah. So it was during Nikki and Sarah. Nikki had a show on MTV. I don't know, like 10 years ago now, with Sarah Schaefer. It was really, really funny, and who later on I've become like buddies with. But at the time, I thought that they were under so much pressure. They were new to it. They never had a TV show. But in my head, these are like two big star comedians that are like finally getting their show, but they were nervous. And so Nikki barely talked to me. Sarah didn't care about me.
Because I get nervous around guys I like, so I just never looked or talked to him.
So yeah, so we didn't really, it wasn't a thing. So I ended up doing something funny on...
Did you feel like you liked her before that, or did you want her to like you because she didn't like you? Was there that kind of thing?
No, I liked her because like I thought she was good looking and all that stuff, and she's like was completely hilarious, but it wasn't really on my radar to for this to happen because there's a detachment with people that there's a professional detachment, and do you ever feel that way, like sort of like Noah's question? She didn't like me, so I wasn't entertaining this world. World where it's like she and I were anything. It's like, well, she's not that into me. I'm not going to waste my time. Like even
I have had people where I don't think they like me in general, where I want them to like me more, not necessarily in a romantic way. So I could see how that, but you're not even thinking past.
No, it was like, this person isn't that into me. I'm not wasting my time to like get invested in this. But yeah, I thought she was so funny and so good looking and all this stuff, but it was like, man, she doesn't
Can you give me an example? Like, so you guys, because you were a producer, so you would have a meeting, and like at the end of the meeting, it was like, all right, Nikki, well, thank you, and she'd just be like, yeah. Like it was like coldness, or was it more of
there was coldness, and like you're joking around and you're having a good time, and like if she's not really getting it, it's like, okay, well this person just isn't.
It's not
for me.
Bouncing back.
Yeah, it's not bouncing back very well. And then one time, I think I've probably told this. I don't know if I've told it on this podcast before, but I was sitting next to her in a meeting, and I look, like her phone starts ringing, and I look over, and it says Jon Hamm on it.
That's tough.
And so I'm like, okay, well, she knows Jon Hamm from the celebrity world or what. I had no idea, but she and Jon Hamm were calling each other, and I was like, this isn't a. She's hanging out with Jon Hamm.
Yeah, it's a tough competition.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, what's going on? Well, it turns out she did this with Anya. She would change Anya's phone number to a bunch of different bunch of different names, and at that point, it was Jon Hamm. And so whenever Anya called her, Jon Hamm would pop up.
But that wasn't to mess with Chris, right, Nikki? That wasn't that.
It was something she was just doing anyway.
Okay, all right, cool.
And
I think it was.
You think it was? Really?
Wow, that is pretty.
Purpose.
That's pretty.
To impress him.
Oh, I didn't think so. I didn't. But me and Corey Cavan, we were like, "Whoa, what's going on?" She's hanging out with Jon Hamm because this is at like.
So you just left your phone out to say Jon Hamm?
It's like
to impress.
Peak Mad Men,
and it worked. Clearly, it worked.
It did raise her stock in your mind, but almost unattainable.
No, it actually just made me be like, "Oh, well, this isn't even a real human being."
Tanya was in my phone as John H for so long, for like 5 years.
Yeah, because I guess because it said Jon Hamm. Like, it did. It said Jon Hamm.
Oh, you might have added the ham.
I think she took the am off. Because I wouldn't. If it's just a John H, I wouldn't. That wouldn't make any difference to me.
Maybe that was your...
No, it said John H, so it would look even more obvious that it was Jon Hamm.
I don't think so.
Oh, interesting that you both remember it differently. I like this.
I mean, you would...
maybe you added the Ham because that was like the celebrity that you would be the most competitive with.
Or maybe Corey is the one that was like, that's... Nikki is texting
Corey
with
Hamm?
Jon Hamm.
I think Corey told
Hamm?
you about it, and you might not have ever seen it.
Oh.
No, I think I was sitting next to you. And
Interesting.
I definitely was sitting next to you at a meeting, and I definitely saw...
Was there ever a Colleen, Chris?
Yeah, there was... Colleen was great. Oh, so anyway.
So your
Was that a
first
period?
kiss.
Colleen Turkey.
All right, so
Ham and turkey. Okay.
Oh, nice.
I'm sure you could have pulled it off.
D-U-M.
You could have talked.
I don't know. I like turkey. I
Poor
really do.
Glaze. She was on the radio show. She was on the radio show that I'm on the other day, and there's something. And man, when we were up at Wilco with her family, there is something about the delay of some of her jokes that makes some of them like maybe not work as well, but some of
The
them.
delay is brutal.
No, sometimes it crushes.
Sometimes it adds.
The
there's
the
a
Debbie
suspense.
Mommy stuff in Colorado, I still think about it. It was so funny. Tell them about Debbie Mommy. Okay, so we were driving.
We got to get back to the kiss, though. I think people will want to
Maybe
know.
after the break.
Oh, should we go to break?
Oh.
All right, we're going to go to break and do some ads and commercials, and this is not part of my job, but yeah, we'll catch you right after the break.
Turkey.
Besties.
Hello, we're back.
So you're saying Debbie Mommy?
Nailed it. Okay, so Debbie Mommy, Nikki was doing this thing where, so her dad lived in Colorado for a year, and he talks about it, often enough that Nikki knows these stories and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl that he was dating out there, her name was Debbie, and he brought her up at one point, and Mrs. Glaser gets sort of like half fake, half real annoyed at it, and is like, oh, we got to talk about her.
Yeah.
And then Nikki starts talking about how she wishes that was her real mom, and started calling her Debbie Mommy, and like for the rest of the whole night, she would just reference like, God, I wish Debbie Mommy was still here. And Mrs. Glaser would say something, or she would like mess up a direction to like we would need to go left, and she would have missed it, and she'd be like,
Debbie Mommy. What?
There's no way Debbie Mommy would have missed that turn.
My mom was laughing, but deep down she was furious.
Kept talking about all the benefits of Debbie Mommy. So I love that.
So back to the kiss.
Apparently,
You
from
guys
when
didn't
Nikki
know.
has told me this story in the past, she apparently put up clues like Blair Witch Project, like clues for you, like trying to get you to know
You didn't
that.
know that I liked you for sure.
No, definitely not.
But didn't you wanted him to know in a way, right? So you would do certain things.
Yes, but I didn't know how to flirt.
Oh yeah.
So honest.
I thought changing Anya's name to Jon Hamm would seal the deal.
I did not.
John H. Okay, so fast forward, you guys.
So our boss ended up telling Nikki, you've got to go talk to him. He doesn't know you like him, so you have to go talk to him.
So did you
she,
tell
like,
the boss that you liked her?
Whoa, wait, your boss is now involved in this?
Yeah,
With
Kim is like she was like a friend for
Okay.
both of us.
Okay.
Like she's she's extremely funny. She's a showrunner on a bunch of different funny shows that we've all seen. But she's hilarious. But she finally was just like, Nikki, you have to go talk to him if you like him. Like, go talk to him right now. So Nikki came
And
over.
she was sick of me crying in her office about him every day.
Yeah.
So Nikki came and talked to me. We ended up like palling around, and then we figured out that there was something going on there eventually, and we hung out a few times. And one of them was like a bit of a disaster, and it wasn't a total disaster. It just wasn't, like I think it just didn't go
Like
perfectly.
this podcast.
I think the pod's
In
for
the
what
story.
for the handicap of having me on. I think we're doing fine.
So we end up we didn't have a great time the night that she came over. It was a good time, but it was like, oh, this isn't obvious. Doesn't seem like she really likes me. It seems like she came over as like a bud. It doesn't feel like, she was really interested. And then I think a few weeks later or a week later or whatever it is, she texted me kind of out of nowhere-ish and was like, hey, I've got a show tonight at the Cellar. Do you want to come? I think she just like threw it out there, like not thinking that it would happen, but just like, this is a last-ditch effort. And so I ended up getting on a train. It was really late at night. So it was like maybe like 11-ish, and I think we had work the next day. So I get to the Cellar, and she's not ready for me to go hear her stand up. So she was like, I'm going to go downstairs and do a set, and then I'll come back up. So I stayed upstairs. Then she came back up. We were having a great old time. And then, are you ready to take over from here?
We left the Cellar and walked down the street, and we stood on 6th Avenue and just lingered, and I was trying to make a point about not making a first move because I always made the first move, so I was just trying to stand there and not what I always say, which was we should make out, and then when I was about to give in, he suddenly said, get over here, and grabbed my hand and pulled me into him, and we made out, and I was so excited because I had been in love with him for months. I sprinted into a cab,
and that's all I needed that night.
It was one of the best nights of my life because I was so desperately in love with him at this point. This was the biggest victory of my life at that point.
Aww.
Since then it's...
And I didn't finish that sentence.
And I didn't finish that sentence.
I mean, that was a good move. You just grabbed her.
Getting through this podcast.
There's going to be a lot of unsubscribes.
This is
I don't think so. I really don't think it's bad. Why do you guys think it's so bad?
And I feel like I keep interrupting because I can't time these right. Let's get to the news.
Okay, let's get to the news.
You heard it here first. Yeah, you heard it here first.
I hope you're having all the swells out there. It's Wednesday. You know what that means? It is Wednesday. All right, back to you, Noah.
All right. Well, some passengers on a flight from LA to Dallas thought that they heard a man having an orgasm over the PA system. And I want to just share what this guy caught.
It sounds like an old hound dog giving birth to a demonic goat while using the world's worst karaoke machine.
It did sound a little bit more goaty to me. That had to be a Southwest flight, right?
No, it was American Airlines.
Oh, really?
Fancy. I mean, it's a guy. He just broke into the intercom and was...
They said it was a technical issue.
Yeah, so a stewardess went over the PA system and she said it was some kind of malfunction and they're working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, they lie all the time. What was that? I want answers, American Airlines.
I am gonna call my next explosive diarrhea episode a quote PA malfunction.
No.
For me, the intercom thing, did they take over the intercom? We never even knew. Like, so a guy, I think, is just fucking around, right? That's what I assume the story is that some guy got on there and was like, or like farted into the mic, like that, or into the phone.
No, I think it was just the speaker malfunctioning.
And it just sounded exactly like an orgasm? I mean, that's...
A man moaning.
I feel like a drunk person probably grabbed it and was like, oh, look what I can do with my phone.
Noah, did you listen to the whole thing?
I listened to most of it. And eventually the stewardess went on the PA system and she said, you know, we're trying to fix this difficulty.
Yeah,
but it was just a malfunction.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like there was just an airlines where some guy punched the stewardess because they wouldn't let him. He wasn't allowed to use the bathroom in first class, so he just punched the fucking. Did you see that? Punched him in the back of the head.
I saw that
because he was hammered drunk coming back from like Cancun. Just laid him out, and then he had to be. You know, they do that thing where they put him in handcuffs, so the whole flight they're like tied up.
It's a
Which,
zip
I don't know.
tie.
Is that legal to do that to someone if you're not
zip ties.
authority? Yeah, you put zip ties on a man.
Yeah, it seems like you shouldn't be able to, but I mean, some people
think
be
on an
acting crazy.
airline,
Yes,
there's
on a plane, yes.
Just zip tie their ass? Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
it's like a citizen's arrest or something.
Yeah, I guess that would be a citizen's arrest. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, some people, you get so fucking drunk on an airplane.
Security on planes is so much harsher anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I'd almost be pissed
than
off
anywhere else.
if they had to land the plane early. I'd be like, no, let's just keep flying with him, or zip tied. Like, I need to get to Denver. You know, I have a thing to do, and now you want to stop, and let's deal with this. You know, now the guy, not only did he punch the stewardess, we have to wait an extra 5 hours. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Or do you get up, do you punch the guy? Would you punch a guy if he punched a stewardess, you think?
Just throw him in the coach bathroom and call it a fight.
He'd be so angry being back there. I don't know if I would do it. I don't know if I could like step up like that. I think, you know, people joke that if Mark Wahlberg was in that plane that he would have saved 9/11.
Yeah, you like to think that you would. But nobody, I mean, it's nobody knows what they're going to do in all these situations. Everybody, when something happens, or like even the Harvey Weinstein and the Cosby stuff, you hear so many people be like, well, I would have done this or I would have done that. It's like, you have no idea what you would have done.
Have you ever been in a situation where you're like, fuck, I got to like step up here, or like, I need to help?
Nothing like super serious, like nothing very dangerous. What about you?
I would definitely defend flight attendants on a plane.
What would you
I am
do, though?
always looking to be a hero up there. I have planned for it.
What would you do, though? I mean, you would yell at the guy, but I don't know, man. I
just speak up and then get physical if need be.
Damn. All right, badass.
All right. Well, speaking of physical. For my next story, there's a new study out from the University of Eastern Finland that shows dancing has a positive effect on depression, and they used avatar-based choreography. So basically, each person came up with a dance about their own stories and hopes for the future, and when they watched the avatar dance it back to them, it activated something called a mirror neuron, or an empathy neuron, and set their it pushed their depression to the background, improving mood, reducing stress and anxiety, and promoted positive self-image. So I was wondering...
This checks out.
Yeah.
On Saturday, I was feeling really sad during the day, so I moved my coffee table and couch and worked on a dance I had tried to learn a while ago. It's the dance from Taylor Swift's video Delicate. It's pretty easy, but also not easy at all because there's no instruction. I just have to watch it over and over. Shush is actually a really good dancer. She can do the splits. It's annoying that Shush is good at everything. And then I got to go the Taylor Fest dance party that night with Chris. Take it from here, Chris.
Did you do that dance at the party and show people what you learned?
Man,
no.
She was dancing. She was a dance machine at the Taylor Swift dance party. And when I came over that night, I was like, hey, do you want me to move this table back? It was all the way against the wall. I was like, what's going on here? And she was clearly dancing up a storm.
There wasn't enough room to do that dance.
Can you do it now? Like, you've learned it. Were you doing it at the dance party? No, there was, yeah.
There's no room.
Tell them about that dance party.
The Taylor Swift dance party.
How did Nikki get on that platform? Because from Instagram, you were shooting video of her from like a balcony, and she was on some kind of stage platform.
Yeah, well, this thing, first of all, it was one of the most joyful experiences of my life. It was like pure euphoria in that building. I would say most people were like between 20, maybe like 19 and maybe 26, something like that. Nikki was probably the oldest woman there. I think I was the oldest person in the building. And I'm 41 years old.
We were the oldest people there by far.
Yeah, we were definitely the oldest people. But it was this place called Red Flag in St. Louis. and it can hold about 1,000 people, and it was completely packed. And I had no idea what to expect. I'd never been anything like this. And all of a sudden, like, the lights go down, and these 5 like adorable girls get on stage, and one of them like hits play, and they just start dancing. And it's like every single one of those girls was the main performer. Was like they were Taylor Swift in that moment, singing to the crowd, and the crowd was going crazy for it. And just right off the bat, everyone was just fully in, 100% in. Nikki was 100% in. And then after 2 songs, they were like, hey, it's like the most positive, sweetest environment I've ever been in. They were like, hey, anybody who wants to come up on stage with us can come on stage. So there's a guy counting to make sure there's like not too many people on stage so it's safe. And then anybody just gets up on stage. And it was like every single girl up there got to, it was basically like
be Taylor kind of
karaoke where you get to be on stage. And did it feel like you were like, because witnessing it, you could tell everybody felt like they were Taylor. Sometimes they would turn to their friends and sing with each other. But it was like a lot of them were just like performing for the audience or just screaming out loud. But it was one of the most joyful experiences.
It's called Taylor Fest, and they have them all over. If you're a Swiftie, you must attend one of these.
I wonder if it's a franchise.
It's the best time you can possibly have.
Is it franchised out? Like, I wonder how the money gets split up after
I think that there's a bunch of different groups doing them.
Yeah, because there's a lot of money in that. I mean, you know, and who are these 5? They're just 5 dancers that were hired.
Guess how much per ticket, Andrew?
Probably $50. I know. No. I just went high, but I don't know.
15 maybe.
40, 30?
No, not
20. 26.
26.
$26.
To see, not Taylor.
And that was the age limit as well.
Like a numerical?
Yeah.
Is the ticket price like a numerical clue from like Taylor Swift? I know she likes to drop a lot of hints and stuff.
22 then, right? Or
I wonder
13?
what the age limit is.
Those are
probably
big.
18, right? So the ticket's probably a little expensive because people aren't buying drinks, right? Is it an open? Is there? There's a bar there, right?
Yeah, there's a bar.
So people, yeah. And what's the girl to guy? It's what 90-10? No.
Oh, I would have said 90-10.
A lot of boyfriends.
Maybe.
I saw one video where a boyfriend's just
98% women.
Oh, 98%.
Okay,
women.
yeah. It was almost all.
Did you bond with any of the guys there, or you were too old? Like you were just like
no, but it was fun because people ended up recognizing Nikki. I mean, she was kind of on the corner of the stage. She wasn't in like the most prime spot, and it was fun because at the end of the show, like people were asking for pictures and stuff, and so I got to take pictures. And
it's so wild to get to a level of celebrity where you sell out 1,000-person venue and you're not there. You don't get any money from it. And
my thought was, I've never seen a Taylor Swift show. I've like produced Taylor Swift. I did the Taylor Swift Storytellers, I think, back in the day, and then her 1989 album release party. I produced those things. But I don't think a real Taylor Swift show would be as like euphoric as this was, because there was nobody else to worry about except you weren't. You're not fawning over Taylor, you're just fawning over her music. Do you think an element of that, there's some truth to some of that?
I wonder if...
My favorite part was when Chris went out to my car and got me my pink microphone, which I had in there from a photo shoot, so then I got to pretend I was her a little bit.
So does Taylor have a pink microphone? Is that why... My understanding is that's why you did it for the special. It was like an homage to Taylor.
Yes.
Okay. So then, I noticed that microphone was in her car trunk before
during her Lover era.
Gotcha.
Is there an artist that you would feel this? Are you tied to any other artist where you would go to something like this for yourself?
Queen.
Yeah, Queen would be a big one for me.
Yeah.
And actually, I got to kind of live a little bit of one
Elizabeth.
of them. It's very sad at her passing. What about you? Who like
Tom Petty?
Yeah, that would be a good one.
I would say just any song you sing along. Like knowing the lyrics, something like that, you have to know like all the lyrics. Like it's one of those. Here's 20 hits. We all know every single word.
Yeah, and I probably didn't know 50% of the songs, maybe 60% of the songs, and people were singing them like it was all the number one song that Taylor. What's her big song?
You Belong to Me. But Petty would be different. It would just be a bunch of dudes bopping their heads.
Yeah, definitely. People were like dancing their face. Like people, if people were dancing the way those girls were dancing and they were like in their 40s, they would be like
hurting.
Yeah, hurting the
hips,
next day.
Do you think like the sense of community there? I mean, it's got to be stronger than a religion. At that point, it is a religion. Taylor Swift fans, like it's that.
Even at Wilco, I was surprised at how my dad was just bopping his head and not singing along or dancing at all.
Yeah. He knows all the words to all the songs too.
He knew the songs, but you're absolutely right. What you're saying is,
and H is the biggest Wilco fan.
EJ,
yeah.
You knew
EJ.
what she was talking about.
Yeah, and Debbie.
Yeah,
fan of both, mom and dad.
But you're absolutely right. It was like a. It is. I mean, it feels like the devotion was religion, similar to a religion. But man, people were as happy as I'd ever seen anybody in a group, and the shared experience was real.
I saw a thing where like, how can people, the Queen Elizabeth stuff was so polarizing. Like, how can people love her this much? She's just just a whatever, like the monarchy, whatever. And then it's like you see something like this with Taylor Swift, and it's like. That is your Queen Elizabeth. That is that devotion, or like an athlete, like maybe Pujols hitting 700 home runs.
That was awesome,
right? We're like, oh, then you could kind of understand how people can be so obsessed with the monarchy.
I can't understand the monarchy,
but even with that, because they don't do something like a Pujols.
I have to say, I feel closer to Taylor Swift than most people I know personally.
But because. Why can't you feel that way about them? Because you don't feel like they have a skill or anything, or like?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is one of the strangest things in the world right now that the British people support this weird family, and for what?
I think I mean, look, you're not.
I mean, the Queen is on Canadian money, Australian money, South African money. When I look at listen. America's not perfect, but we don't have some other person's queen on our money.
The Kardashians.
This is a Doug Stanhope bit that I loved so much.
This is the first time I've played over in Europe. I've been coming to Europe for 7 years, and I didn't realize till this tour, it's the first time I didn't have that black cloud of George Bush over me where I always felt like I had to apologize as an opening set because people will judge you. People, you always had that where someone's gonna be in the audience thinking you're a dick because of him. Like there's some association with being American and you're a dick because of George Bush. And like you guys must feel with having a royal family still, where people around the world are going, what a bunch of fucking retards they must be. How backwoods fucking retarded do you have fucking royalty? And you guys are going, hey, we didn't want it. It's not our fault, but they don't understand. Everyone thinks you must be a big fucking group of simpletons living out some Dungeons and Dragons fantasy land bullshit with kings and princes. Do you have wizards and fairies too? Fire-breathing dragons? But it's not your fault. And you would always make fun of George Bush, and I understand you were doing it ironically. Like, how dare we ever make fun of any democratically elected official when we still live with this Stone Age, bow down to this fucking Renaissance festival? They're a superior bloodline to you, you boot-licking fucking supplicants? Are you joking? And I love the backup argument that you get where, oh yeah, we have a royal family, but they're more figureheads than anything. And you go, that's even worse. You carry these fucking leeches around like golden ticks in your beard, and you fucking roll out red carpets and kneel down before them, and your excuse is, but they don't really do anything. It's kind of more fucking dumb. Miss America is a figurehead, but we don't have to buy her 100 castles on the taxpayer's dime.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know enough about the royal family. I never
What's
watched
your
The Crown.
stance on the monarchy?
My stance on the monarchy is that we're in America and we got away from them hundreds of years ago, and that's how it should have stood. And why are we? No, I don't know. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's crazy. It's loony. Like, they're all fucking ancestral, and like apparently they're all German, and like
Yeah.
and like they're not even fucking real British people, and Prince Andrew's fucking kids, and they just forget about that. And fucking the one dude cheated on Princess Diana, and he has the fucking girl up there, and he's fucking banging her in Queen Elizabeth's bed.
Did you combine ancestor and incest?
Yeah.
It worked for me.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking incest in the fucking realms, dude. Look
Incestrial, yeah.
around Jupiter. That's where you'll see Prince Andrew banging Epstein's kids. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like,
I think it's absolutely insane that there are groups. I mean, David Beckham waited 14 hours in line to pay his respects. I mean,
but my point with the celebrity stuff wasn't to be like, I think that they should also be admired. I'm saying, should anyone be that admired? Even if you do have a skill, why are we putting these people on a pedestal that, you know,
I don't see
like
it as like
anyone.
a celebrity thing, like from the Taylor Swift thing. I think it's like a culture. And the thing that it reminds me of is when I was really into like wrestling and WWE, there was just this like very tight-knit community of all sorts of different people. And, you know, like we really like the costumes and the glitter and the, you know, the matches. And I don't know, it's a thing that like only we understand because we're fans of it. And it's hard to explain to people who are outside of it.
you get community from it. You
It's a
guys like
sense of identity for me. As lame as that is, I am white and I have no culture.
But it's true. Nikki was there and she was around people that liked the same things as her. And there was something that was exciting and calming, and she felt safe there, and they all felt safe with each other. And like, you know, there's a shortcut to connection at a place like that. So everybody that you look at there, they all like the same thing as you. And so it's a shortcut to like, I automatically am giving you the benefit of any sort of doubt that we could be friends.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there's a lot of great moments where, like, you know, people were going up to Nikki on stage. They were singing to each other, like, you know, the lyrics, and they were having like these shared moments together. And that's what that's what a concert is about. That's what sports is about. It's about a shared experience with other people. I like WWE and WCW. I totally understand that. I mean, I've been to some of those. They are so fun and entertaining.
It felt like a 2-hour-long touchdown during the playoffs.
Here she goes with her sports talk again.
Yeah, that's like Sting's version of a touchdown. And I'm talking about the WCW Sting.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Yeah.
Fucking my favorite guys were Junkyard Dog was probably my
Tantric
favorite.
touchdown.
Yes. Very good. You get it.
What do you think of the Bushwhackers? They were fun. I think anyone.
I got it.
They were great. Demolition Guy. Oh man, why in the '80s the best wrestling ever? Maybe because I was younger.
Yeah, I think it was just that hit you at the right spot.
Yeah, it really did. It's kind of
Okay,
weirds me
let's
out
get to why do I care.
Yes.
about wrestling.
Why do I care?
Nikki Glaser has an article on Esquire.com. The reporter that was following her around before our break has a piece out about Nikki's comedy career, her goals in pursuing music, and her positive outlook on vocal rest.
I mean, how many pages is this? A big old article?
It's a great article.
Big article.
And
Yeah,
it
it's
starts
really
off with...
Did you read it? I don't know when it came out yet.
I read it.
What am I?
How was he
Send it
supposed
to me.
Didn't it come out last night?
Did you read my article in the St. Louis Dispatch?
It was in the email.
It was in
our show.
I
email.
don't read the email, so I'm surprised about the stories, Godfather.
I want to be surprised.
Well, the part that kind of stuck out to me was right at the beginning. So I like how he like takes you into all these different settings, and you know, as he was following you around, he kind of takes the reader into these different situations that you're in. And one of them is you're in a comedy club, and Jeff Garlin so the guy from Crosby, Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Still,
Stephen Stills, yeah.
Yeah, Stills is a fan of yours. And I was wondering, does your dad know this? And I want to know if EJ had anything to say about it.
The guy followed you around for what, 3 weeks almost?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, something crazy. I mean, a long
Yes,
time.
and Garland had written me that, and I instantly texted my dad, but I forgot about it right away because it's too crazy. I tend to forget these huge pieces of information.
I mean, you know Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
I do.
Yeah, okay.
I do. I mean, it's one of those bands that like I probably know 2 of their songs very well, and then the rest I just, that is them kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
Neil Young is
the guy hung out with me for 3 separate hangs.
Gotcha.
Really?
Gotcha.
Whoa.
So Neil Young was
Not
part of
3
them?
weeks.
Neil Young was part of Crosby, Stills, and Nash? Which one was he then?
He was the Young part.
I didn't. Where was Young? Is Young
it was Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young at one point.
Oh, there's Young.
Yeah,
and
I
then
said it
Neil
wrong.
Young was
I'm
like,
sorry.
I'm Canadian. I got other stuff going on.
Gotcha.
I actually don't know if the other guys are Canadian. I don't think David
I think
Crosby
is he the overweight one that looks like a Warris kind of guy?
He's, I think, the father of Melissa Etheridge's.
Etheridge. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
Oh.
That's
And
a
I
real
think he
thing.
dated Joni Mitchell, or at least
He has
they
Hep
were
C.
friends.
That's the one, and I don't know why I know that, but I know that he has Hep C.
She told him come in my window.
But wear a condom. I don't know if you get Hep C that way, but yeah, I don't know why I know that, but yeah. That's definitely like a late night Google of like, how do I have Hep C? Do people live with Hep C? Are there any celebrities with Hep C? And you're like, oh, I'm fine.
I love that you have to say you do not know why you know that 18 times.
Yeah, I don't know. No, ancestral. So that's cool. I mean, I'm excited about or do you like how the article came out though? Like
I loved it.
Yeah.
It's really great. I mean, it just paints like a pretty accurate picture of Nikki's like existence. You know, like she's really into music and singing. It talks about the vocal rest and why that was, or the vocal surgery and why that was a little important. It talks a little bit about, one other thing I like is like, it sort of like illustrates how, as confident and as like amazing as Nikki is on TV shows and doing, all these specials, and she's like a force of nature up there. Like she still has insecurities and she still has like, real things that she's going through. And, even if like right before she goes on stage, she's sort of like, like meandering, or I don't want to say anxious, nervous, maybe a little bit nervous. Like once you hit the stage, it's, it's a totally different story. And I think that maybe
I read it, and at the end of it, I was like, man, I like this girl and hope she finds what makes her happy.
Yeah.
It made me see a different side of myself.
Wow.
No, it's interesting. Sometimes, like, I would love for, like, if I could, like, tell my story and then have someone that can write way better than me. Like, read back what I tried to say back to me and be like, wow, I actually am a pretty good human. Or, like, this is eloquent and, like, I am, like, I do nice things or whatever it is. And it's just, it would just sound better than me being like, I'm a good boy.
Right. And this guy's obviously a great writer. He's in Esquire. I was like, do I just like this because, it's about Nikki and it's like very, very positive and like real and stuff. And I went back and like started reading through some of his other stuff, but this guy's good. What's his name? McDermott?
John McDermott.
McDermott. I got that right. John McDermott.
John M.
John McDermott. Yeah. He and Nikki, you had a lot of nice things to say about him during the process to me. So, I mean, I think they got along.
I mean, I feel like there's a way to like interview someone with that where you don't want to be the main focus, but you have to like ask them questions. But I think it'd be difficult to follow someone around and know when to come in, when to just sit back and like see what's going on. You know what I mean? When you want to get a quote.
I also thought that he did a really great job of, because I've been on those comedy nights with Nikki where I've been to I've been to Jimmy Kimmel stuff, I've been to Seth Meyers, I've been to her like shows at the Cellar, I've been to her shows at the Comedy Store, and I thought he did a really great job of painting the picture of what it's like to be a working comic. Do you agree with that, Glaze? I mean, you're typing something else, but you're nodding yes. And he sort of like took you into like a little bit of the inner workings of what those nights are like, because, you know, you go to the... No, go ahead.
I think me and this guy will be friends forever.
Aww.
Especially after I read the piece and heard how lovingly he explained who I was. Also, his piece about Spencer Pratt is awesome too.
Yeah.
Check it out.
But yeah,
he just does blonde hair, blue eye people that like kind of look like brother and sister. No, Spencer Pratt, I'm sure
narcissists.
The only thing I remember about Spencer Pratt is he also had Hep C. No. He had crystals. He loved crystals. Like he was the first to bring crystals into the world.
I think he hooked up with like his grandmother or something, or his great grandmother.
What?
Because he's in
the royal family.
He's ancestral.
Yeah. From his great grandmother. If you think it could just happen, you know.
Hand drip.
Solid drip for sure.
Okay, final thought.
When people write about stand up or like anything like artistic, and it can make it sound so much more romantic than it is, when it's like we're just three people hanging out in a green room talking about like foot fungus, but they could write like the walls were smelling like oak and the fire of pit, whatever it is, like it will sound like almost like Game of Thrones-ish, where it's just like three comics just hanging out like bullshitting. But there's a way for them to paint
about the backstage hang and paints a perfect picture.
Yeah.
Does he make it sound more romantic than it is?
No, I felt like he did a very... I thought he did, because I've been to those things, and I think he portrayed everything in a better way than... like.
Dope.
Would,
I'm excited to read it. I'll definitely read it, and then I'll break it down.
Here is his description of the backstage hang. It's 9 p.m., the primetime slot at the biggest stage at one of the most legendary comedy clubs in the country. The performers for the night file in. All of them killers. With handfuls of TV shows. 1-hour specials. And millions of podcast fans between them. Kurt Metzger. An eccentric genius comic from New York. Sits on the vinyl banquette and brandishes a 24-ounce black cherry white claw from his backpack. Anthony Jeselnik saunters in wearing a leather jacket and slouches into his seat, wordlessly thumbing his phone. Neil Brennan, co-creator of The Chappelle Show, pops his head in, surveys the room, and immediately turns around and leaves. His brief, bespectacled appearance reminiscent of a cuckoo clock.
He kind of looks like a bird, too. Neil Brennan, doesn't he? He has bird tendencies.
He just had a post on his Instagram that I liked.
Yeah? What was it?
At first I was like, I thought it was going to be a joke about like mental health hack, because I think it said something like mental health hack, but it was like, he said, I mean, I'm going to butcher it, but he like wakes up and just thinking about all the people that have wronged him. And then he spends the whole day like thinking about all the people that have wronged him. And then he wakes up or then he goes to bed and he's thinking about the same thing. And then he was like, one day he was just like, instead he was like, I'm just going to think about all the people that have righted me. And so he started thinking about all those people. And then he was like, and then you start going through those people. And a lot of the people that have righted him are some of the people that have wronged him as well.
Oh, wow.
And so
that's cool.
He went through a little bit of something like that.
I would feel like if the people that righted me, I'd just be like, it'd be 7 seconds. You know what I mean? Like it'd be over so quick. But wrong could be weeks.
Listening. We have to go. I appreciate you guys for putting up with this. Both listeners and co-hosts. Thank you, and don't be cool, and Jack Donaghy.
Jack Donaghy?
Jack Donaghy.
Jack Donaghy.